I, 28F, am friends with this girl, let's call her June, also 28F. In fact, my husband, 32M, and I often hang out with June and her boyfriend, i.e. go on double dates, have weekend trips etc. We've known each other for over 2 years. I would say that we four were pretty tight as a group, up until this weekend. My husband is an orthodontist. One of his patients is June's half-sister, Rhea, 12F. June often is the one accompanying Rhea to her dental appointments. June is also a small-time online influencer. She's always recording and vlogging and stuff. Though my husband and I have made it clear to her and we're absolutely not okay with our faces in her vlogs online, and she seemed to respect that boundary. We don't use social media, apart from Reddit, and we trusted her word when she said she's not gonna post us online. Cut to last weekend, my brother sent me this link with the message, "Dude, you gotta watch this." I opened the link and it directed me to June's TikTok account. She doesn't have much followers, less than 10K, but the particular video he sent me had like 500,000 views/likes, I'm not sure which. Lo and behold, it was a video compilation of my husband with the title "God, I see what you've done for others." The video was honestly the creepiest thing I've ever seen. She had recorded my husband during various of our double dates together, and it was clear he wasn't even aware he's being recorded. In some of the clips, she would start with her face and then pan the camera towards my husband with a cutesy expression and mouthing words like "oh my god." The worst one was where he was working on her half-sister, Rhea, wearing scrubs, and she'd recorded even that. She didn't even bother to blur out the kid's face while she was lying on the dental chair. I showed the video to my husband and he was horrified. He said it made him so uncomfortable and violated knowing that someone had been secretly recording him. He was angry that she'd recorded him working on a patient. He texted her asking to take down the video and delete every video she has of him. First she feigned ignorance, then she said that she meant no harm and that it was all for online engagement since, I quote, "TikToks with hot guys go viral very fast," and that she'd gained a lot of followers after posting that. This was also weird, but my husband and I got our families and friends to report the video, and thankfully it's being taken down now. This pissed off June and she sent me a long-ass text saying how I was jealous of her online success and that I couldn't stand seeing her succeed blah blah blah. I replied saying, "You are delusional and unhinged. You're not successful and you'll never be. Stay away from us, you creepy weirdo." Now she's all weepy and depressed and has been telling our common friends how mean I was to her. She's also been posting about mental health on her socials and about how mean some women are with their words lol. Ada? Comments where Op has replied, "Commenter, NTA. You and your husband had set clear boundaries and she violated those boundaries. This shows that she does not respect y'all at all. I recommend cutting her off entirely, as anyone who disturbs your peace is not worth your time." Oop, yes. We're cutting her off entirely. I don't know if her boyfriend is aware of this or not, but I guess he'll have to be collateral damage, cause I don't want her to weasel her way back into our lives. Commenter 2, NTA. People who think online engagement is more important than basic human decency are sadly not at all uncommon, and they are, as you say, delusional and unhinged. Their success is not real, and except in a very few cases, it never will be. Oop, it's psychotic honestly. My husband is so freaked out about this. I feel so bad for him. Commenter 3, he might need to drop the half-sister as a patient and or tell the parents that she, June, is not allowed to accompany her anymore. I agree, that is a creepy weirdo. If she can't get followers or likes without lying and getting consent for people to be recorded, then she needs to find a new career. Oop, yes. He's in the process of informing her parents. I don't think he's gonna drop her as a patient, as her treatment is almost done and it's gonna be hassle for her to find a new orthodontist. Commenter 4, he needs to ban her sister, your former friend, Will, from the room while he is treating the patient. He needs to have a female staff member assist him and act as chaperone should your friend try to make baseless accusations. Oop, there's a rule in his practice that a female dental assistant has to present whenever they, the male doctors, are working on female patients, as most of the patients are young kids/teens and they might be more comfortable with a woman around. Even in the video she posted, there is a woman assisting my husband. He's reached out to the kids' parents. They're being given two choices. Either they chaperone their daughter or they need to find a different orthodontist. I really hope it doesn't come to baseless accusations though. Update 1, I don't want to make another post for the same thing and I doubt I'm gonna be updating again. 1. My husband's practice reached out to Rhea's parents and informed them about the situation via an email, as they wanted everything documented, like I mentioned in the comments. The parents have responded. They are shocked and very, very apologetic. They have agreed to chaperone Rhea on her appointments instead of June. They wanted to meet my husband personally to apologize, but he informed them that that won't be necessary. 2. June's TikTok video is still in the process of being taken down. No new updates on that. I guess she contested the reports or something. I'm not entirely sure. My husband and I have blocked her. My brother is keeping an eye on her account though, just in case she posts something else about us. We'll see what to do with / when it happens. We're gonna be consulting a lawyer if she bothers us again in the future. 3. My husband is kinda shaken up / upset / annoyed about this whole thing. He's taken some days off from work and so have I. We'll plan a trip somewhere maybe, to take his mind off of these things. Right now, I need to be there for him. I won't be posting anything for now. 4. We haven't contacted her boyfriend yet. My husband is not in the right headspace right now and I feel it'll be better if we focus on ourselves for the time being. We don't want the added headache of how the boyfriend will react / if he's in on this or whatever. We'll inform him after some time. I know this is selfish but I think it's for the best. Thank you all for the responses. Smile update 2. I genuinely hoped I wouldn't be updating this story again, but life had other plans. We thought the drama was done, but nope. We filled June's boyfriend in on everything, and he was shocked, hurt, and confused. Turns out, June managed his social media, and he had no clue what she was posting. He thanked us, and we thought that was it. But then he asked to meet up, saying he needed to discuss something. To be honest, we were extremely hesitant to meet with him. We were so done with the drama and didn't want to get sucked back in. But, he seemed genuinely concerned and willing to listen, so we agreed. At the meeting, he revealed he'd confronted June. She broke down, professed her love, and claimed her obsession with my husband was for social media clout. Apparently, his total package made for great content. When he asked to see her phone, she refused. So, he checked her laptop. And found hundreds of sneaky photos and videos of my husband. And, for laughs, she had pics of me looking my absolute worst, mouth open while eating, weird faces, the works. I think I'm pretty good looking, but these photos were the opposite. It's like she wanted to prove a point about my husband's ugly wife. June's boyfriend dumped her. But, honestly, we're even more freaked out now. The scale of her obsession is terrifying. Hundreds of photos and videos? That's not just a crush, that's fixation. The thought of her escalating to something more is keeping us up at night. As a small consolation, June's boyfriend made her delete the videos from her social media and laptop. But, God knows how many more copies she has. Despite June not reaching out after all this went down, we're still on high alert. Her radio silence is kinda unnerving, and we're bracing ourselves for whatever might come next. Hopefully it is in fact just for social media clout, not some weird baby reindeer type obsession with my husband. It's kinda unsettling how she was friends with me for over 2 years. We hung out often. We've gone on weekend trips with her and her boyfriend. We have so many mutual friends, and yet no one knew she's doing this behind our backs. Either I'm bad at reading people or she's very good at being sneaky and deceptive. I'm also mentally kicking myself for not realizing that someone was taking pictures of me. I feel my husband and I both need to be less dumb and more aware of our surroundings. Lol. On a brighter note, Rhea's parents are super thankful to my husband for still treating Rhea after everything. That's it for now. Hopefully, this is really the end. Update 3. I really didn't want to update this situation, but things have taken a seriously dark turn. When I posted about June's thing for my husband a month ago, I thought it was just some weird crush. Now? It's flat out terrifying. The day after my last post, my husband got a super creepy message from a random number. You have got it all wrong. Please meet me. I'll make you understand. We freaked. Lawyers and cops are on it, trying to get a restraining order. Both our workplaces have ramped up security, and we've warned friends and family to keep an eye out. This whole thing is destroying my husband's mental health. He's anxious 24/7, wondering if he's being followed. He's stopped going to work because the feeling of being watched is overwhelming. We're trying to prioritize his safety. And honestly, it's breaking my heart. The other night, he broke down in tears. I've never seen him cry before. It was shattering. He's been talking to a therapist online, trying to cope with the stress and anxiety. But even that's not easing his mind. He's consumed by fear for my safety, constantly worrying that June will harm me to get to him. We're covering our bases, security cams, dash cams, the whole works. And I've scoured our home twice for any hidden devices. Thank God, all clear. If things get worse, we're prepared to up and move. Honestly, it's better to have a life in a different state than be dead here. It's heartbreaking to think about leaving our friends, family, and everything behind, but we'll do what it takes to stay safe. Some of the advice on here was really helpful, and I've done most of what was suggested. If someone, anyone, has any more insights, please share. I'm desperate at this point tbh. Update 4, November 9th 2024. I've been sharing some updates on a pretty unsettling situation we've been dealing with. For those who haven't seen my previous posts, the short version is that my husband and I had a friend, June, who started acting super obsessively toward my husband. She secretly recorded him, posted weird videos of him online, and we eventually had to cut ties with her. So, after not hearing from June for 3 weeks, things took a really creepy turn on Friday. We hadn't heard a word from her, so we both got a little more relaxed about the whole situation. We went back to work, and everything seemed fine, but turns out, we were wrong. My husband went to the store after work to grab some groceries. He had no idea June was following him, but when he got to the parking lot, there she was. As soon as he saw her, he tried to get to his car as quickly as possible, but she was already closer and blocked the way to the door. He tried to walk away, but she stepped in front of him, begging him to talk to her. She kept saying it was just a harmless crush and that she'd leave us alone if he'd just listen. She even said, "Please, talk to me." He didn't respond and kept trying to walk away, but she wouldn't let him. She begged again and reached into her coat pocket. My husband heard a metallic sound and instantly thought she might be pulling out a weapon. In a split second, he grabbed her hand to stop her and pushed her away with force. She lost her balance and fell down, but he didn't stick around. He quickly jumped in his car and sped off as fast as he could. Thankfully, she didn't follow him. After getting away, my husband immediately contacted the police. They managed to get security footage from the parking lot, and it shows 2 people, a man and a woman, running towards the car. After a short while, the man pushes the woman down and quickly gets in the car, speeding off. The footage wasn't super clear, but it shows the general sequence of events. Of course, it's still not totally clear what she was planning or what she had on her, but the situation was extremely tense. We've been trying to get a restraining order against her, and hopefully, this time we'll get it, but we're not entirely sure how things will unfold now. We're also moving to my parents' home country for a while just to feel safer and take a step back from everything. It's going to be tough rebuilding our lives from scratch, but I guess that's what's in our destiny. So yeah, that's where we're at. This whole situation is terrifying, and we're just trying to keep our heads straight and stay safe. I'll keep you all posted if anything else happens, but for now, we're just trying to lay low and handle this as best as we can. Next story, husband and his family rejected our newborn daughter because she looked nothing like him. After they got the paternity test results, his family pulled my hair while holding my baby. My 24F husband, 31M, and I have 3 children. Our sons look exactly like him, dark skin and dark eyes and hair, but our daughter doesn't. She looks exactly like my great-grandparents, really pale, blonde and green-eyed, but apparently he didn't think it was possible that our daughter could look like my great-grandparents, and from the moment he saw her he told me he wanted a paternity test. At first I refused because I felt it was humiliating and because I didn't think it was necessary because I never cheated on him and I hoped he would trust me, but he didn't, and for the first 2 months of our daughter's life he made my life hell. He didn't want to hold her even if she cried desperately while I was doing something else. He never woke up at night to help me with her. He never helped me with anything, and that hurt me so much because with our boys he was completely different. He helped me all the time with absolutely everything and he was always there for me after giving birth, but this time he left me alone and it was the worst experience of my life. I have no family here and his entire family from the moment they saw my daughter turn their backs on me. I don't have any friends here either, so it was just my daughter and me. She is a colicky baby, so it was very difficult for me to do everything alone and on top of that help with our sons. I decided to do the paternity test because one day his entire family came to our house to celebrate my son's birthday and no one spoke to me and they didn't want to include my daughter in the photos that my in-laws took of all the grandchildren. So I knew it was stupid to keep waiting for them to come to their senses. Well, the paternity test came back positive and everyone was shocked, and of course they felt guilty for not having believed in me. Everyone apologized and my husband even cried when he held our daughter in his arms for the first time, and I know that his apologies were genuine and that's why I forgave him, but I don't know if I can forgive his family. They treated me really badly and said horrible things about me just a few days after giving birth, and I can't forget their insults or violence. My husband knows that I don't want to see his family, nor do I want them near any of our children, and he told his family. So these last 3 months it has been just the 5 of us, but it doesn't feel as good as I expected. My husband is constantly apologizing and crying every time he holds our daughter, and I am getting tired of this situation. I want us to be happy as we were before. So how can we move on? My husband suggested that we should start couples therapy. How much can therapy help? Update. I think before the update I should clarify a few things to put you in context. I know I should have said it in my original post, but I didn't, and that made many people believe so many things that are not true. Before I got pregnant I met a man, I think he's in his early 50s, at work, and you could say that he's a little too friendly. For example, he liked to buy me and another female coworker, she's in her late 50s, coffee every morning, or once in a while he used to leave a flower on our desks and things like that. That never seemed strange to me because he never tried anything with any of us. He was always just friendly, and he was always talking about his wife, children and grandchildren and giving us parenting advice. Well, my husband didn't like that I was friends with this man because he said that he was sure that this man liked me because I'm young and that he would soon try something with me. And when he told me that, I told him that I wouldn't stop being friends with him because he was always respectful and I didn't see anything wrong with being friends with a man. And I'm not gonna lie, he got really angry, but after a few days he forgot about it. But all those doubts resurfaced when our daughter was born, because she had a lot of platinum blonde hair, which none of our other children, 5M, 4M, had, and my husband thought she would look like her brothers, but no, she looked completely different from him and me, and that made him doubt. My coworker is not blonde, but he has the same eye color as our daughter and he's very pale just like her. So my husband asked me for a paternity test and I refused because it was humiliating and because I thought that at least he would educate himself about basic biology, but he didn't. And when I say this I mean that my great-grandparents look exactly like my daughter, same color hair, eyes and skin, and he always knew that but decided to ignore it to believe that I was cheating on him. And I know that I helped this situation escalate and end badly because I should have accepted the paternity test, and I say that because here it is not easy to do a paternity test without authorization from both parents. And regarding his sister and mother, they never liked me, and for a while we even stopped having contact with his family because I didn't like the way they treated me. But when our second son was born I felt alone because it was just my husband, his friends, our son and one of my children to grow up with a family, so we got back in touch with them and in fact they treated me very well until my daughter was born. And when they pulled my hair my husband wasn't present and I didn't tell him until a few weeks later, and by then they had a big fight because of that. I swear that he was never violent, nor did he ever endorse anyone being violent with me. Well, the update is that I gave him an ultimatum and told him that I want to go live in my home country and be close to my family, and that if he didn't want that then the only option would be getting divorced. When I told him that, I also told him that I'm talking to a lawyer to advise me on divorce and joint custody, and I guess that made him realize that I was being serious because he said he would be willing to do that to earn my forgiveness. Another thing I asked him is to cut off contact with his family forever because I don't want our children to suffer what I suffered with them, and he agreed. At the moment our plan is to travel for Christmas and stay there for a few weeks and move in the middle of next year. In the meantime we will go to couples and individual therapy and hope to be able to solve our problems. So far things are going well and I hope they continue that way. Edit. I don't understand why there are so many people accusing me of being a terrible wife and not supporting my husband when he told me to stop talking to my coworker. I've supported him since we started dating. I moved to a different country as a teenager. I left behind my family, friends and everything I ever knew, all for him. I didn't go to college until last year because he was doing his PhD and I had to stay home with the kids full time, which is why I could never have a single friend here, because since I arrived here my only duty was to be a mother and housewife, and that consumed all my time. I got my first job when I was 23 and it was only because the kids were old enough to go to kindergarten, so don't say I don't support him because that's the only thing I've been doing since we started dating. This was the first time I had friends here, even though they were both over 50, and it felt good because there were days where I felt so alone and talking to them at work made me feel good. But for him that was wrong, and when my daughter was born I quit my job that I liked so much, just so that he would stop feeling insecure, so don't jump to conclusions or say stupid things. Additional info, people say oop downplayed the coworker stuff / more clarity. Well, maybe I did downplay his behavior, but it's my first job and since he never behaved inappropriately I thought it's something a lot of people do when they share an office with others. Also, all our coworkers speak highly of him. No one ever called him creepy or anything like that. I never gave flowers, but during the time I worked there and shared an office with this man and another woman I used to bake cookies to share with them and things like that. I don't know if it's comparable, but what I mean is that in our office we used to exchange things, whether it was a coffee, a cookie or a flower. One more response to the downvoted people who think she's going too far and cutting them off. His family rejected my daughter since she was born. They pulled my hair during a one-sided fight when I was holding my daughter. They mistreated me when I was pregnant with my first child, so why should he keep in touch with people who don't respect his wife or his daughter?